Hello and welcome to Flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. This is episode 32 and this week we're in February 1999. I'm RGT and as always I'm joined by the man who loves his physical over a digital. One of the first games he always installs is MLB Baseball. Shows his retro flex when he plugs in his 32X. That's UCP George. How you doing, my man?
Wow. I've already forgotten the first thing you said, so it was obviously a courageous intro. I'm into it. I'm fired up. It's 1999. I'm a little bit edgy because I'm a raucous teenager with a driving license and disposable income.
Yep.
Pay yourself.
Yep. I had my cherry bomb on me Metro and setting the streets alight. Not literally. Wow. Not literally. I mean,
fuel leak.
Huh?
A fuel leak and a static anti-static strip charge. Bam.
Oh, back on the anti-static.
It's gone
strips.
Up like something out of Die Hard 2. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Where did you roll out?
Oh dear, what a start!
I'm back.
Show. You're back, baby. But yes, so like I say, this is episode 32, and we're in February 1999. Another repeat of a year. Surprised me with the amount of options we had of games, because I was starting looking through and researching this, thinking the first couple of pages I was doing not a lot there, and then suddenly all the games started coming out. What are you going with first, George?
I'm going to go with World Driving Championship 64. It's not possibly the best game, but if you had an N64 in 1999 and you'd seen all your bigger boyfriends playing Gran Turismo and talking about its upcoming sequel, you needed this game. But let me tell you now,
you needed this game.
I needed this game. You listener, dear listener, viewer, you don't need this game. If you're looking to complete your N64 library, it's a competent enough driving simulator. It's a competent enough racing game. I had some fun with it. Admittedly, only because there was literally nothing else. I mean, what else was there? The F1 World Championship games, which on the N64 were a tour de force with the expansion pack. But this, no. It kind of tickled my switches, but the lack of anything going on it was a big drain. I'd like to play it now. I should imagine it looks probably worse than Gran Turismo 2 if I'm being brutal, but there you go. I guess you weren't really an N64 aficionado, so you probably don't know about this game.
No, I did not have an N64 back in the day, only about 10 years ago. No, more than that now, 12, 14 years ago when I started collecting, I got one. And I only know of this game from me and you chatting on here. Talking about, you had the N64 and your friends were getting Gran Turismo. You were thinking, this is going to be my Gran Turismo. Obviously, it's not that. I've never actually watched footage of it. I might actually have
to be honest, when official Nintendo magazine probably gave it like late sevens, even they were pushing. They were reaching because they wanted a Gran Turismo clone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This will show them 32-bit boys.
Yeah, it really didn't, unfortunately. But, I'm not here to yarp on it. If you're getting a full collection, you need it. If you're mildly curious and you're totally dedicated to Nintendo systems, then you fancy a driving game, you could do worse. It's certainly better than the GBA driving games for sure, but yeah, handle with caution. RGT, what's your first game?
It's a game I've played again when I started collecting, but only very briefly. Loved it, and I haven't gone back to it, and I keep meaning to go back to it, hence why I've mentioned it here, because hopefully I will, and that's Revolt. I think I've got the Dreamcast version or PlayStation. I can't remember which one. But it's always quite intrigued me. I think this was Acclaim. Acclaim Studios London done this, I think. And it always looked awesome fun. It always looked really good. There was that RC sort of vibe to it that, you
gave me Toy Commander vibes when I played it back in the day.
Yeah, and I remember when the only thing that made me think back to it again was when I remember when MotorStorm done their MotorStorm RC, and I downloaded that on my Vita and playing that, and I'm still on my Vita now to this day.
It's one of the best Vita games, dude. That's why.
It's a brilliant game. That suddenly made me think, what what was that RC game I played? And that was Revolt. Now, I haven't played enough of it to know if it is really a game worth going back to. If if you're on YouTube listening to this, or if you're listening on your podcast supplier, let us know. Let us know if you've played this. Contact us, questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. And just say, yep, give it a go. It was a really good game. It was you didn't see too many RC games. You don't really see too many RC games now, but
No.
I always thought that looked quite good for the time.
I've always wondered why they haven't done more because that style of play, which is like micro machines where you're kind of locked and it is kind of tank controls, sort of like Iron Hoffman's games like that, they kind of felt like the precursor to remote control racing games. You had a fixed
Oh, no, you're
perspective.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Your controller was locked, left is left, right is right. So even if you're halfway up the course or coming back the other way, your controls kind of get flipped. Well, they don't, but they kind of do it in your head. And yeah, to me, they're like what you would call remote control controls.
Mm.
So, like, why don't we see more of it? It seems like something that you could do relatively easily, and graphically, there's me knowing absolutely nothing, but you'd imagine graphically, like not that intense to just draw a fixed level where you move the cars around it like you would in real life.
Well, there is that new one coming out on Steam. Me and Broad Border and also Captain Scarlet were talking about it as well. I can't remember what it's called now, and that's coming out on Steam. It is coming to PS5 and things as well, and that's where you play almost like a Way Out style. You play online with your friend with your two RC cars, and it's something to do with a scientist who's died, and you're in the two RC cars in his house, and you have to negotiate the house and work puzzles out and stuff. And that looks quite good and unique. But yeah, another one that gave me vibes of this Revolt. But yeah, because I think this goes around sort of like museums, doesn't it? And is it like big steamships and that where the levels are, and so you're in
Something
that
like that. Like I
big
say, it always
environments
gave
and
me like Toy Commander vibes because you were low down in like realistic settings.
everything's big and
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, Revolt, I'm definitely gonna have to dig that one out and have another play on that. What are you looking at next then, George?
Next on my list is a game that came out worldwide around this time, Final Fantasy VIII. We always go with the worldwide release
Mm.
dates. So, a game that, if you listen to the main show, the Unofficial Controller podcast, you'll know that I've been playing or flirting with. Um, I like this one. I've moaned before about 7 with a Chilby style. FF8 solved all of that and then made itself very hard to love with its magic and battle system. Nothing's easy in Final Fantasy VIII, and nothing comes for free. I'll tell you that now. Um, graphically, they've kept the backgrounds that they had in the original Final Fantasy VII, the first 3D PlayStation iteration of the franchise. But the character artwork has gone through the roof. There's times where you're like, "Oh, am I in game now, or am I in a game cutscene?" Obviously, the CGI cutscenes are something else, and I talked on the main show about. There was a section early in the game, and it does give me Expedition 33 vibes, especially that first part. You go in, you get to the top of a tower, you get chased by a spider, and the way Final Fantasy VIII mixes the CGI and the in-game levels, like there's a part where a spider comes crashing out of a building that you've literally just walked down. It's very clever, and they're pulling a lot of fancy trickery in this game. Like I say, the only thing that and I don't think I'm alone when I say this, I can't be. Like the battle system is hard to love. It's confusing, and like I love the summons, I really do. But when you're looking to fight someone and you're working out how much damage your summons are doing, and you think to yourself, hang on a minute, I've got to see this unskippable summon animation 25 times. Wow, that's a lot. And I play it on the Switch where you can put it on sort of fast forward mode. That saves this game's arse, RGT, because without
Mm.
that you would go insane. Especially if you die in an encounter and then you got to do it again. Okay, so I only got halfway through that encounter, so I've only already seen 12 summon animations. Here we go for another 20.
I thought of you
So
the other day saying that because I was watching a video on some of the Star Ocean games, and there was a guy on there who was going back and reviewing the Star Ocean games. Really big JRPG gamer, and being Square as well, Square Enix as well. And that suddenly made me think of what you said, because he said going back to the game's really good. Down points is the summons in that game. you have to watch the animation all the way through over and over again. And I
Yeah.
suddenly
What was
thought,
he reviewing? Four or one?
what, Star Ocean?
Mm.
He was, which one was he reviewing at the time? I can't remember if that was Star Ocean R or the one on the PS2. What was it? The
Oh,
time?
mate, that one on the PS2 is iconic to me. Just the box art. I
Yeah,
don't know why, but it's one of those games we often talk about them where it was everywhere. Every
yeah.
time you walked into game or game station, this had like a wide ass display. Probably because it didn't sell any, but the
Mm.
box art grabbed you from 20 paces where it was like, "You want a bit of this?" So, I do, but I don't.
Yeah, I keep debating whether to play it, and that's why I've been watching the reviews of it. And he done a few other, like I say, other Star Ocean games, but straight away he said the same thing. And it's strange, it's from the same developers as well. That
Yeah.
them summons were long, and he said going back now, it's a great game to play. The combat's good, but when you're doing your magic or summons, I think they called summons in that as well. He said that long ass video clip, to watch each
I
time, you're
mean,
just like,
even in the
oh,
day though, RGT, you'd look at it and you'd be like, "Oh wow, graphically that's incredible," because the summons are normally a tour de force. But who in their right mind, even then, with them looking like cutting edge graphics, would be like, "Oh wow, let's watch this video again."
or at least give you a skip option.
It wouldn't hurt, would it?
No, no, definitely not. But nah, good choice. Final Fantasy VIII. Are you still playing, or have you fell off a bit now?
I've kind of fell off. I've just forced so many things back in my rotation. As we know, I had a backlog of shame that would, probably make Jesus weep. So, um, mm.
Mm.
So yeah, I've got plenty going on, but that's sat on the Switch. I've got the card version, so I have to put it in every time I want to play, which is a little bit of a mood killer. But physical, baby, we love the physical. Yeah, you got to slot the bit of plastic in the back that says, "Yeah, this game's all good." But no, I mean, I think I'll continue with it just because it's one of those relatively pick up and play sort of things. Like my understanding of the magic summons, blah blah blah, is to a decent level now. Some of my sort of synergies I'm doing, I'm kind of getting there. I just wish it was a bit more user friendly. I guess if
Mm,
you say FF7 was a bit too basic, they're going to go away with that feedback and go like, "All right, okay, let's make this super complicated." That's
mm.
not what I asked for.
To me, it almost sounds like a sort of made for the hardcore JRPG fan.
I
It's
think
saying
it like seven. Thing is, seven's not like a lightweight game,
no, no, definitely not.
and I never felt like the combat was like a cakewalk.
Mm,
So what's going on? Not that I'm a big seven expert, mate. I mean, I bounce off that very hard because the graphics just even in the day, I was no. But eight is a sweet spot. Obviously, we know nine is the magic touch, but we're talking about eight here. What's your next game, sir?
um, quite an obvious one, I think. January 1st, 1999, worldwide release of ISS Pro Evolution Soccer 2.
Hmm.
Um,
What's this on? Like PS1 and N64 or
yeah,
something? Yeah.
yeah, PS1. I can't remember if it got. Was it? I know there was one on N64, wasn't there? I can't quite remember.
Yeah,
I
it
f-
might just be labeled 64.
yeah, this one was just PlayStation. Um, yeah, so I remember first time I saw Pro Evo, a mate was playing it around another mate's house, and he was staying there and brought the game with him, and I was like, that football game suddenly looked like something different. It looked a step above anything else when I first saw Pro Evo. That was the first one. Watched him play it for about an hour and thought, right, I need to save some of my paycheck next week and get this game for my PlayStation, which I did. So then when ISS 2 came out, I was straight on buying that day one. Um, Again, we just loved the Master League. We were all in on it. We would have I shared a house with my mate. We would have this was on the later ISS Pros, but we would have days where we'd get like 20 of us round and we'd have a competition like a World Cup and see who could get through to a final. We'd have a barbecue and everything. There's so many good memories. I know most people listening who don't play sports games are thinking it's just a football game, but Konami really smashed it with ISS. That was that whole playing with friends, community feel, and it was like there wasn't online then. So you, if you wanted to play competitively with friends. You had to get them around the house, and that just made it all so much more worthwhile. And they really started getting in their stride with two. The graphics were brilliant, and they even done things like, I know this sounds basic now, but they even done things like really good net physics that looked the net looked more real, and as the ball hit the net and everything, and the crowd, and yeah, and I know they weren't licensed, so you had to spend your time going through and changing Man Red to Man United and Merseyside Red to Liverpool, and but we would go through and design the shirts as they were. They give you all that option because they knew you would do it. They knew you would. I mean, there was once it was a bank holiday, I think. It was a Sunday. We were off work, and my mate said, "Should we actually play a full 90-minute game against the hardest level on the computer and see how many goals we could score?" We're like, "Yeah, all right then." So we had a full 90-minute match with a few beers, and I think it was something like 65-4 or something like that. Ridiculous. But we did it. We played full 45 minutes at half time and then played another 45. But yeah, I just haven't, although I do play FIFAs, I haven't found that connection with the game that I did with the ISSs, and two was just that starter where that was really, really getting in a stride. So yeah, great game. I don't suppose you ever played those, did you, George? Or
Yeah, Terry Blow was a massive fan of ISS. He
Mm.
never really picked up FIFA. He kind of swerved it. I think I said to you before, I'm sure he had it on the Super Nintendo and would like gather me round to look at that, or probably serve me up as a willing victim for him to absolutely annihilate. And then I've
Yeah,
always followed it through. To me, ISS, like I got FIFA when it first came out on the Super Nintendo. Of course I did. I didn't really know anything. But Terry showed me ISS, and ISS has got this look, even like now, it's got this look that looks different to FIFA, the graphical style of the way it's drawn.
yeah,
It always will look different. It looks a little bit more caricatured, which I've got no problem with. Um, I always felt the game carried, and again, I'm not a football fan, so this is purely objective, but I always felt it carried the spirit of football way better than any other of the games that were out in that era.
yeah. You're right, because FIFA was more about getting the teams right, the badges right. It's all about the players' rights that they have to pay for as well. Whereas Konami didn't have none of that. They just concentrated on making a really good football game.
Yeah.
And they done it. And it always had something about it. And even back in the day, there was always, it was like your Spectrum and Commodore 64. You were ISS or you were FIFA. But every guy I knew who was really mad on FIFA, not so much later on when that started fading to ISS, FIFA was the more way to go. But even back then, you'd say to them, "Yeah, have you actually played ISS?" And they'd be like, "No." I was like, "Come on and have a look." And you'd get them to play it. And I guarantee you they went and bought it. Soon as they saw it, they were like, "Oh, actually, this is about trying to get realistic gameplay. This is about actually getting the game right."
Yeah.
And I know Ginge, if you're listening, I know you'll agree with me as well because he was a big ISS fan as well back in the day.
A man of
Great
quality
game,
and respect.
yes.
That's exactly why I've attached my name to in my family
And
name.
just to add before I finish on that, sorry, I've gone on a bit about this, but a couple of years ago, I had a friend from work round when I had my game shed, and he said, "Should we just go through loads of old football games and see if any are still good?" We went back through some old FIFAs and stuff, and oof, it was arcadey sort of glitchiness at best. I stuck the first ISS on, and I think we had a game. I beat him 2-1, and at the end of it, he just went, "This is actually really good for today's standards. This is a proper football game." And I was like,
Mm.
"Yeah, it has." And graphically, it has, but the actual game itself, gameplay, hasn't aged that much at all.
Graphically, I think ISS gets away with it more because it went down that caricatured style.
Mm,
The way the stadiums looked, the way the players flowed up the pitch, it looked more of a recreation of actual football, and that's
mm.
to me, the layman, what always had me doffing my cap to it.
I mean, even if you look at the PS2 entries, what, three, four, five, six.
Mm.
They looked good on that system. They really smoothed the
That
graphics off
that
and looked really good.
PS2 concurrent PSP era of ISS was like its high watermark in my mind.
Mm,
It
yeah.
really it climbed to unbelievable heights at
Mm,
that point. Obviously, when the PS3 came along, it the argument was starting to get watered down and watered down and watered down and watered down till obviously pop goes the weasel. Um, But yeah, I've that era with that box art of the ISS that they had with the players on it that they had at the time, it made FIFA look like garbage.
Mm,
It just felt like a real classy, well executed product.
mm.
And that's why I think it's probably stood the test of time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, great game. Um, what you picking next, then, George?
Come on over, have some fun. It's Crazy Taxi. Now, I
Oof.
got this in 2000 on the UK launch, but it seemingly had a worldwide launch sometime in February 1999. Um, I love this game. When I first got my Dreamcast, whenever it was, early part of 2000, I think it was, like I brought Sonic Adventure back and I was like, oh, okay, fine. This is okay. And I was enjoying it, but then I was thinking, what have you done? And then Crazy Taxi came out, got an absolutely banging review in Official Dreamcast magazine. I went and got it, brought it home, and I'll be honest with you, I've never had as much fun with an arcade game. There's something about it, the music, the little shortcuts, the way you can learn how to do the boosts and the brakes, how you can use like lampposts to stop you dead in a zone so you can get the ultimate time, the different themed sort of 90s venues you could go to, like the record store and KFC and all that sort of dribble. It felt, and it still does feel, like an absolutely rip-roaring time. Crazy Taxi to me, it will always be synonymous with the Dreamcast, but I also know that the wider game is synonymous with arcades. Had a really great arcade cabinet with like a they used a similar one for 18 wheeler where it wasn't a full seat, the Crazy Taxi cabs I saw. It was like a 45
Yeah,
degree inclined sort of
like a lean
upholstered
seat,
bench
wasn't
you
it?
kind of
Yeah,
leant into. Then you could
yeah.
use your feet on the pedals. And then you also had the gear stick, which was used to give you your super boost and your super brake and all that sort of stuff. Um, I love the game. As soon as I turned that on, there was my little white Dreamcast. I'd said goodbye to all the N64 stuff. I was maybe having a bit of buyer's remorse. As soon as you press, yeah, 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 scenes of the car in awesome graphical style, jumping up in flash cuts to the music, and then that bam, that raw yellow sign with Crazy Taxi written on it. I was like, right, okay, at this point, I'm all in on this freaking console. I love it. It's literally written a love letter to my heart about Japanese consoles and arcade games and things that I've maybe never really understood before. But Sega really brought the juice here. I mean, we didn't know at the time that they were in the fight of their lives, but they threw everything at the wall. And in my opinion, for the most part, is stuck.
Mm.
Um, I love the Dreamcast. It's an era in gaming that I'm a little bit sort of mournful about because I kind of know that I will never ever get that experience again. I was the right age, the console was the right moment. It probably didn't sell very well, so it felt very exclusive to me. There was no social media, so it felt like you were having this singular pillar experience on your own. I will never ever get that again. And for that reason, the Dreamcast always comes up when say, oh, what's the best console of all time for you? Like, oof, oof, that's hard. N64 was a big moment for me. Dreamcast was a big moment for me. PS1. But the Dreamcast just arrived. I've gone on time memorial about the PAL blue spines, the PAL blue topped magazines, the theming of the blue swirl, the online, all of it. Um, Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful console, and one of the most premium experiences you could have on the Dreamcast Crazy Taxi RGT. Tell me, you probably arrived to this on the PS2.
No, I think I played the arcade before I played the Dreamcast version. No, I did
Ah,
definitely, and I'd loved it in the arcade. I was a big fan of driving games. I used to always play driving games. Really into them, Outrun, all the rest of it, Chase HQ. You know, played Crazy Taxi and thought, oof, graphically, I can't remember what board they used. They used quite a powerful chip in
Naomi
the
board.
That's it. And remember thinking, oh, this stands out in an arcade. The sounds, the speaker, boom, boom, really good. And then when I saw it was on Dreamcast, I thought, oh, having that on a home port is pretty special. And I remember thinking all these other consoles were trying to be open world RPGs, grown up, these big games that would have the occasional arcade game on, but you just bought that as a bit of shelf filler. Sega were like, no, 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 this is an arcade machine in your home. We'll put this at the front. Crazy Taxi is what you want at the front. You don't want that to sitting in the back if you remember it in an arcade.
Well, I've been on holiday
Hmm.
and I happened to walk through a few arcades.
Hmm.
What a tragic fucking sight that is. Sorry, Flashy B listeners, right? But that
F
just
bomb.
underlines how morose it is to walk through a modern arcade. Angry Bird, like throw things, stupid little tap tap tap
Tickets.
games, all for the tickets. Also, you can get a massive bundle and find out you can buy a rubber. I I turned to my wife, Rachel, and I said, I don't understand arcades. When I was a young lad, they'd take something that you couldn't ever even imagine at home. Graphically, gameplay, everything. It was the Uber premium experience. Now that I don't know what happened first. It's a chicken and egg scenario. Did we stop going or did the games die? I actually think the games died.
That is, yeah.
The world of like episode one racer never reared its head again with episode two Coruscant chase, did it? It didn't. And I think now, if they built a one off cabinet, literally rammed it with the latest supercomputer and did an experience in that arcade that you could not get at home, or if they did like a PS5 port of it, immediately you'd be looking at it and you'd be like, bloody hell. Like when they did a Mega Drive port of a game that was in
Yeah.
arcades at the time. Super Thunderblade is a great example. In the arcade, you've got the big seat, you feel like an absolute hero. When you play it at home, it's like blah 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 blah, pow pow pow, absolute garbage. They
Yeah.
tried, but it's garbage. I want to see a arcade game cabinet that the PS5 port looks like you really shouldn't have bothered. Now that would pull people back in,
Mm.
but they're not willing to do it. So sorry, it's a bit of an aside, but you talked about Crazy Taxi and all the games that you played in there, and it just
No,
took me back to walking through that arcade. I mean,
I
there was a
think,
few legacy survivors RGT, like from our era, but they were unloved and unused, and everyone was smashing the living daylights out of an Angry Birds thing or a Flappy Bird like port in the arcade, which spat like, what is happening?
and the thing is as well, I don't think they should be called arcades because they're not. They're
No,
just it's not a
amusement hall.
yeah, amusement ticket hall or something like that. But we've been to retro arcades, we've been to Arcade Club at Bury and places like that. I mean, they do well. They do free play. You pay for a day and you go and you have fun. I mean, if you're seaside resorts, someone took a gamble. I know the machines are expensive, but that's going to pay you back. If you've done that on the seafront, because of the amount of people who now have nostalgia for that, I
Yeah.
think you'd do quite well.
I'm happy to doff my cap to nostalgia, but I'm also sat saying, show me the bleeding white hot edge of what you can do now.
Can they though? Can they actually do it? That's the thing. Have we gone too far at home that nothing's going to be that much better than home? I mean, you got to remember in our day, I was playing school days on my Spectrum, and I was going to the arcade and playing Operation Wolf, full color graphics. It was the leap was amazing, absolutely brilliant. And
It
then with the
was.
Dreamcast, filtering that back in, but the Dreamcast was then they done the opposite and then brought that back home for you, and
Yeah.
that's when it all started
And
blurring into one.
almost arcade perfect. The Dreamcast was like a Naomi based machine.
Very good.
It wasn't the full rip snort that you got in the arcade, so there were some like clawbacks that had to be. But for the most part, really great looking games.
Mm, yeah,
I think the prime
definitely.
example of like, really guys is
Yeah.
no, actually, every single port they executed was good.
Yeah, it used the original material really well. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
Um,
they did. I was going to get a bit harsh, but I actually retract all statements. They actually did a good job. I
mm,
mean, just because the arcade game isn't my cup of tea per se, that doesn't mean it wasn't brilliant. And it was. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
What's your third pick then, RGT?
I think I'm going to go with Grand Theft Auto 2.
Oh,
Um,
oh. There's a game
again,
that felt markedly different from its first game.
oh yeah. Again, top down when GTA was top down. You young youths will probably not remember that. You probably don't remember GTA 3, to be honest. You're probably from about five onwards. But anyway, Um,
No, I'm retro. I played four.
yeah. GTA 2, yeah, top down again. It was just one of them games that when you first saw, it felt like, to me anyway, it felt like it was one of them like illegal games that hasn't been certificated or anything. You know, you're
Mm,
driving around mowing people down and shooting people and stuff, and you're like, are they allowed to do this? It's just illegal to hold this game. It was one of them. And again, it was, yes, it was all that, but it was them early attempts at an open world, you know, even though it was top down, being the wrong side of the law. And then when they started doing like your DLC, but it was on a disc with GTA London and
mm.
1967, whatever it was, or whatever, I can't remember.
GTA London 1969 or whatever it was called.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had them add-ons as well, which could, I think, was a bit confusing at the time. I think you had to put GTA 2 in and spin it up to make sure you had the game, and then put the other game in to play it. I
I
think
do
there was
recall something along
some
those
sort of
lines.
copyright way of doing it. But anyway, you could then add to that experience, which I always remember as well, because I'd never heard of anything like that. I weren't a PC player. So when I just played a game till I completed it and left it. But when you could have this add-on to a game that you bought and then expanded the world or to a new story, I always thought, how incredible was that? And you could see these early, I mean, this was DMA at the time before Rockstar, but there was that early signs of there's something brewing here with Grand Theft Auto. There's something special coming here. And there weren't nothing else like it at the
It's a
time.
leg up from Lemmings, wasn't it?
It definitely. Brave of them to do it, you know, went down that route of, you know, let's cause a bit of controversy, see what people think. And I remember
Well,
seeing,
famously, was the game really that controversial? But they paid Max Clifford to put a load of stories in the
yeah,
Sun newspaper about how it was like awful and blah blah blah, and shut
yeah,
this game down. And obviously, it famously worked.
yeah,
Um, Kind of like makes you wonder, like, hang on, if that was happening in 1999, Max Clifford was paying someone off. Hmm,
mm,
hmm,
does make you wonder that, doesn't it?
it does. But yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, I had the original on PC, and I still always have a soft spot for that. Driving around with the WASD keys, it's not normal.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that. Yeah,
My mate Ewan, he took the game and went crazy with it. He became absolute expert on it. He should have been doing some graphic design, and he just shut himself away in this really sort of posh office. I used to go and see him sometime, and it felt that he went upstairs. There's all carpeted wood loft conversion. You walked in this place he was working at. I'm like, oh, come and have a look at this. You get round the other side. Every single time it's GTA. And he was like spinning round. The things that you do in like the 3D version that you take for granted. A really decent player or someone who put the effort in on GTA 1 and 2, London, could be literally dancing circles around the police with the car. And
mm,
then bam, the other way, fight the oversteer, bam, gone. And it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, and this is really incredible. The music playing, there was no licensed music in the first two games, as far as my memory serves. And I'll speak for one more. Like the music that they wrote for that was actually really quite good. I mean, that's the other thing. We talk about the open world or semi-open world nature of these original two, three GTA games, two and a DLC if you call it that. And they had working radio stations. They had it all. I think the first game was probably slightly limited. In the second game, do you get the mobile? I think you do, don't you?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, if I
Which
remember
frees
rightly.
things up a little bit because the first game you were always tied back to a payphone,
Yeah, payphone. Yeah, yeah,
um, which to me kind of stilted the mission structure a little bit. I've noticed in modern GTA games, can you imagine if you had to like hammer back somewhere all the time to
yeah,
like no, do your head in. So yeah, it's a good old. Two was the legs, although it started to feel a little bit classic British developer. They were maxing out the original formats, so things started to feel a
yeah.
little bit hovercar-y and futuristic in the second one. I was a bit like, oh god, no, I'm not too sure about this. But then everything calmed down. They gave us GTA London, and then they gave us the beautiful, sublime. Still to this day, I believe it a work of art. GTA 3. I know it
Mm.
got surpassed by the other two, and my favorite is San Andreas. But as a
But
straight shot out the gates, 3 translated
mm,
1 and 2, and even gave players the option of a top-down camera
yeah.
as if Rockstar were freaking out that you might not be able to play GTA if it wasn't top down or some drivel. I don't know whether that was just like a nod to the enthusiasts or the history, but yeah, that top down view in GTA 3 is actually playable.
Mm.
bizarrely. Talking about remote control car games as well, RGT, GTA 1 and 2
Yeah,
control
without a
like,
doubt, without a doubt. Yeah, definitely. Um, and also well, DMA designed before they went to Rockstar, but they're always a company that would go as far, like you say, go as far as they could with a game. They've done GTA 2. What else can we do? Well, let's do a spin-off London. They've done that, maxed that game out and thought, right, new system. We need to then take this to the next level. And then, like you say,
yeah.
GTA 3,
Because if you track that like a normal British
absolutely.
developer, the next stop off for them in their evolution would have been a top-down game, but it would have been like GTA 2050 where people had lasers and trouble
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right? Thank God they were like, no, no, we're going to take this into a crime scene and we're going to make it 3D, we're going to make it this, because it would have been very easy to continue down that lineage.
Mm. They just built a whole new engine, 3D world. And even to this day, I still remember when I first saw it, my jaw dropped, just thinking, how have they gone from that to that? That is incredible. And rest is history.
You know, you've got to argue that that game probably killed the competition. Like that had to be the nail in the coffin of like Dreamcast, to be
Yeah.
fair. And I do believe GTA 3 started as a Dreamcast game because now this, you know, historically it's been kind of imported over.
Someone's done it. Yeah. That's actually a
Yeah.
decent, really decent, decent port on there, actually. That plays okay.
Yes.
It needs, to be fair,
If you need to play it on there, it's amazing.
yeah. And so
Play it on
they've,
PS2.
yeah, play it on PS2, but it's great that someone's ported it on there and it will run it, which is quite impressive, really.
Yeah, I saw some early screens where I was a bit like,
I've seen gameplay footage of it now, and it's apart from the odd little glitch I got Ryan out, it plays pretty well. It does play well. They've done well with that. But yeah, GTA 2. Sorry, I went a bit off piece there. You having another pick, George? Or do you want to get onto news?
no, I think we'll do some honourable mentions if you fancy it, because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
we
definitely.
don't want to kill everybody with our stories, do we? I'll tell you what, I'll do my first honourable mention. It's Power Stone on the Dreamcast. I think it's a
Oh,
game
what a
that
game.
everybody loved a slice of. Um, Probably give Silent Hill and Castlevania 64 a shout out as we work up the page.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I saw on here, me and you talked about it. Siphon Filter somewhere.
Yes,
Um,
Siphon Filter was on there.
so a packed month, you have to admit, or a packed
Yeah,
sort of build up to this moment.
yeah, there was a lot coming up.
Impressive.
I mean, I was going to shout Harvest Moon 64. They
Yeah,
managed to give you that lovely 3D sort of Harvest Moon on your N64 if you're into those sort of games. Hydro Thunder, well, we know that was a great Dreamcast game as
yeah.
well.
Evolution as well on the Dreamcast. And I
Mm,
saw obviously we've got Armored Core Master of Arena coming out,
yeah,
Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, and I did see, yeah, Siphon Filter confirmed. And yeah, that might
yeah,
be it. RGT, I
yeah.
think.
I think
Oh, one thing worth noting: Fighting Force. The original was meant to be a lineup of Streets of Rage 3D.
yeah,
I don't think it did particularly well, but
no,
well enough for them to decide to do Fighting Force 2.
mm,
Go figure, RGT. I certainly
exactly.
can't work that out.
I was just going to say there was Worms Armageddon. I know people love the Armageddon one, and Digimon World as well. So there was a
Oh
lot to
yeah.
choose from.
Oh, and
Um,
Snowboard Kids too.
yeah, yeah. So there was a lot about at the time this month. It seems though everyone they were then releasing the games ready for people to spend their Christmas money, I expect. So they were loading the games out. But yeah, we'll get onto the news now. We scoured the very darkest back pages of all the gaming mags and delved deep into the interweb to bring you what was the latest stories in February 1999. First up from Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine, it's not over for Saturn.
Hmm.
While Sega of America turns its attention to Dreamcast, another company is looking to reopen some of Sega's previous markets. Majesco Sales, a New Jersey based company, introduced the Genesis 3 last summer and licenses and releases older Genesis and Super Nintendo titles. They have also published three titles for the Game Boy Color: Frogger, Super Breakout, and Centipede, all available now. The big story, however, is that the company is bringing back both the Game Gear and Saturn next year. Game Gear will arrive on store shelves at the beginning of February for an MSRP of $29.95, with games from $9.95. The Saturn will arrive in the spring from MSRP of 49.95 with games at 14.99. Majesco will be re-releasing top Sega titles and publishing new games, which will probably include Frogger. In addition to those, Majesco will bring out a new lower price version of the Sega Pico for 49.95. The game's running in the 14.99 to 19.99 range. New titles from Japan will be brought out along with this system. Um, this amazed me, firstly, for the price. I, it seems
50
rather,
bucks for a Saturn.
yeah. And I mean, I never realized that was Majesco. So I would imagine when they said the Mega Drive 3, which was obviously popular in Brazil,
Yeah.
I would imagine this was where their main market was. I would imagine, South American market.
I've never heard of this, so well done for
No.
turning this up.
Mm.
You know, bringing back the Game Gear, which I kind of do remember it making a return around this time, 1999. I remember still seeing it for sale. Game used to have packs of the Neo Geo Pocket all badged up in a clear plastic case with like two or three games around this era. It was about 50 quid or something like that. So
Mm.
things like this were happening. I just didn't believe it would ever happen on this scale. I mean, the Genesis 3 is enough. Did this ever actually happen though?
Yeah, I looked into it a bit, and you can see pictures of the people have compared the Majesco Sega Game Gear to the actual Sega Game Gear and sort of screen differences. And I mean, they're all badged up as Sega, so probably,
Wow.
yeah, I think there's
I would
maybe,
love to get my hands on a Majesco Saturn for 49.95. I mean, they might have just been selling off old stock at that point.
yeah, I mean, there's a slight, the one I was looking at, the slight different color in the Game Gear. It was a slightly different shade, but other than that, I think to the untrained eye, I don't think you'd really know. I mean, the Saturn I found hard to find anything on. There's loads of Sega Genesis and Game Gear ones, but I never really did see the Saturn. So whether the Saturn actually happened or what, I don't know. Yeah, it's a strange one. I mean, I know the Genesis 3 done pretty well, I think, and I think they
Genesis
still,
3 makes sense.
yeah, and I think they still sell them Genesis 3s now in Brazil. I think you could still buy them. Whether
Wow.
that's Majesco, I don't know. Um, but I know there's a really good homebrew market for Master System and Mega Drive in Brazil.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, this just fascinated me because I just thought, God, back in the day, if you'd missed out on the Saturn and you were on a strict budget and you were, you had the latest stuff, but thought, oh, there's so many games I missed on the Saturn, you suddenly thought, $50 for a brand new Saturn. I mean, what did that release at? $300 when that came out?
2.99.
Yeah. So, I mean, oof, and then the games as well for,
Thing
you
is,
know,
at this point, like Sega had killed it.
yeah, yeah. I
Like
mean,
they'd publicly killed the people that it'd be like it would be the equivalent of Sony literally double fisting the people that kept the PS3 alive in the end of its life,
yeah, yeah,
when it was
yeah.
still concurrent, like they'd like, it felt like it was all but lost and the community pulled together and dragged Sony out the dirt and Sony made some pretty good games as a result of it. But
I mean, I think
Sega
you
weren't
might
that kind. They
know,
absolutely killed the Saturn.
and it almost seems to me like they jumped onto the Dreamcast. We're all in, and we've got, like you just said, we've got a crap load of old stock here. Sell it cheap to Majesco, and they can make out they're relaunching it. Yeah, it's just old stock,
Yeah,
because
I
it's,
see a little bit of that going on. I
yeah.
see clearance going on. So recall all the worldwide stock back to its original point. You're going to do a write off of that stock, but then you're going to sell it all for like a penny a console or something to Majesco. It's the sort of thing that would go on.
And yeah, and it seems as well. I mean, you can't really call them a clone because they're badged as Sega, licensed by Sega. But are they
Well,
a
here's
clone
one to the
console? Are they
worldwide listener.
original?
Do you have evidence or do you own a Majesco Saturn? We've seen, as RGT says, physical evidence of Genesis 3. I could probably walk down to the garden, dig a 1 foot hole, and stumble across a Genesis 3. But the Majesco Game Gear is a lesser spotted cat. But the Majesco Saturn, Now that's a cat that's rarely seen apart from on the full moon every 10 years. I mean, get me the evidence. I want to see it.
Mm. Yeah, because I couldn't really find a lot on the Saturn. I could lot say on the Game Gear, but not the Saturn. So,
Hmm.
an interesting one. Let us know. I'm sure Carlos will be all over this. He knows his stuff when it comes to old consoles and bits.
Oh,
So
he's gonna literally slather us up with some.
he'll probably just pull one out. Oh, I've got the Majesco Saturn. There you go.
Yeah, why haven't
Picture,
you got that?
Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. I'm
yeah,
scum.
yeah.
If
Absolutely. Yeah, there's only one of one, but yeah, why haven't we got one? Um,
uh, Next up from EGM, let's move things on. We've gone quite far in the episode before I got labelled as scum. Um,
we
Makes a
need to
change.
change that. We need to get you called scum earlier on.
I was kind of happy with what I was getting away with, to be honest. I felt like I'd done all right for myself.
You're not
Anyway,
scum, my love. You're not scum.
you sub scam. Next
Mm.
up, also from EGM, putting the brakes on emulation. The IDSA puts one foot forward and closes down a major emulation website. This is 1999, so buckle up for this. If you're a fan of retro game and have access to the internet, there's no doubt you've been introduced to emulators. Emulators are programs for your PC that can run software made for older computer or console systems, from the Atari 2600 to the Super Nintendo. To make them worthwhile, you need what are commonly called ROM images. The program files originally created to run the system, but these ROM images are illegal. And the Interactive Digital Service Association, the IDSA, which we'll refer to them going forward, you didn't have the abbreviation before, has been cracking down on their distribution, trading it like another form of software piracy. United States copyright and intellectual property law that governs copyright material intellectual property does make the copying and distribution of these ROMs illegal. Despite disclaimers on just about every ROM site explaining what seems to be reasons why these are legal, more than 95% in fact not. Some state you can only keep them on your computer for 24 hours if you don't own the actual game, but there is no law to support this claim. As Catherine Karg, Director of Intellectual Property and Public Policy for the IDSA, explains, when you make a copy without permission, it has no bearing on the law whether you keep it for 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days. You made a copy. And the act of copying is the part that's illegal, and how long, and not how long you keep it. As for these games being public domain, many are no longer available for purchase at your local video game store, but that does not mean they're up for grabs. Someone owns the rights to the titles. In mid-November, the popular classic gaming site Dave's Classics was shut down through IDSA actions. The ROMs present on the site were removed, and the site was since resurfaced. Dave of Dave's Classics told us that I think emulation helps the video game industry. It allows gamers of the golden days to relive some great times of their younger years, especially now with remakes of such games as Asteroids, Frogger, Centipede. Well done. Um, I think emulation helps these to sell better. Karg told us the IDSA is not trying to get rid of classic gaming. What they're trying to do is protect the rights and investments that people have in these games. It's important for the future of the industry and the next generation of consoles, etc., for those protections to stay in place. Because of the worldwide and vast nature of the internet, it's doubtful that this campaign, much like other more active campaigns to stop software piracy, will prove fruitful. More likely, that emulation and ROM sites will pop up faster than the IDSA can act to close them down. Surely emulation of older arcade and console titles is not as serious an offence as pirating today's software is. If you love video games, buying them is the best support you can give your favourite game makers. Thank you, um, Electronic Gaming Monthly, for that stellar article.
Yeah,
A sign of the times, RGT.
I put this in here because again, 1999, you don't really think of people. Well, I didn't myself think of
No.
retro gaming being cool. You want the latest stuff. I didn't really think. Again, I think the youth of today are probably still think like that. We're a bit older, so the emulation and that was I'd never even heard of emulation back in
No.
1999. But I thought from a modern view, looking back, we all know what the minefield is with emulators nowadays. Hacked consoles, bits and pieces. I mean, you've got a handheld emulator yourself as well,
I have filth.
but it's and even then, when they were trying to enforce the law on what is just, what's right, do you protect the rights? what is, I mean, there's even people getting muddled up saying you can do it as long as you keep it on your on your machine for 24 hours. That's not illegal. That was fake. And I still don't think that it's still is that clear today. I don't think, I mean, that's like for the A500 Amiga, I've got one of those, or for the Spectrum by Retro Games Limited, blah blah blah. They've got SD card, they've got USB slots, sorry, and you can just go on Amazon and buy a USB stick filled with every game made, and it says on there these are public domain now. The licenses have ran out, blah blah blah. You can buy them, but are they? Uh, is
I
that
don't.
legal? Is
I
it?
think
It's a minefield.
the strange thing about video games is your first iteration that you spoke is correct.
Hmm,
Video games age like gone off milk.
hmm.
As soon as the next shiny thing comes along, we reach to it. We very rarely assess our back catalogue till we're a bit older and we want to maybe regain some of that nostalgia. The movie industry, completely different. The music industry, completely different. If there was a movie from 19 like 75, pirating it would seem a bit obscure, to be honest.
Mm.
Yet doing a ROM from 1985 seems completely normal. If an album came out in 1969, the difference between music and TV compared to video games is more often than not, these whole catalogues get repressed on the latest formats. It does happen with games, and maybe this is the remake, remaster scenario coming back to haunt us. I don't know. But in terms of sort of extracting revenue from games that probably an era of game that's never really going to really get played again, like what rights are they protecting on a 2600 version of Asteroids? Whose rights are they protecting? And if you're playing it there, you've got to be a big fan or sort of half curious, to be fair. Although, what's Asteroids? What's a version of Asteroids on the PS5 going to set you back? 299
Yeah,
for a
it's.
clone?
Mm,
I don't know RGT. It feels like at the time they had been given a little bit of power and got very hot and heavy on poor old Dave of Dave's Classics. Um, I think he took a bit of a kick in there. I think the internet was, even in 1999, was full of people that were sharing files and software.
yeah,
I I don't know about emulation. Like half of me says, like I've got half of these games. And if the console that I had it on died, what would I do? Well, if I really wanted to play, I mean, RGT will put these up. It looks like Sonic Drift on the Game Gear on the article. If I really wanted to play that piece of garbage, I'd probably emulate it.
yeah, yeah. I know you're right. It's such a funny thing because you got to remember as well, a lot of gamers who were in their prime at this time came off the back of Spectrum, Commodore 64,
Mm.
Amiga. I mean, how many
Big
people
pirate
went
scene as well.
exactly? That's what I mean. And it this is probably a step in a better direction than piracy is the emulation. And I always think it's quite sad the companies didn't jump on board with emulation. And even if they had a not a subscription, but you could download the games from the original suppliers, from the designers for a
Mm.
cheap price onto your PC, rather than just cut it all out. We want to play the games. There's no other way of playing them, but you're not letting us. You
Well,
need to have that sort of balance.
there is like a lot of abandonware, which I think someone in this article made the claim that the
Yeah.
license had run out and blah blah blah, and that becomes abandonware. That's a legitimate thing. There's
Mm,
abandonware websites. I think probably the most prestigious reimaginer of abandonware is Antstream and our good friend
mm,
Mike Rouse. They are doing the emulation scene a good service. You're
mm.
able to download that on PS5 and on Xbox, download it to your PC, obviously, and it gives you a myriad of these old games that you can stream. You don't even need to download them nowadays.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I think in the modern era, that would be the way I'd go.
Yeah.
Or I'd get one of those, or, a rather unclassy individual would get one of those really garbage Game Boy looking Ambernick clones
Mm.
filled with
I
some.
mean, I had Antstream just on my smart telly.
Did
and
you?
I had it on my smart telly, and I just had an 8-bit do Super Nintendo controller, wireless controller, and they play fine. And because the good thing with Antstream is they add in competitions and they take sections of the game and recode them a bit.
There's
So you can
something that me and you shouldn't be really, with our accents, we shouldn't be allowed to say 8-bit do. Sounds a bit
8-bit do.
do, yeah, yeah. It's like someone
Sorry,
asked you the due date of a camel.
it's 8-bit do.
What simester's that? 8-bit do? Yeah. Oh.
He's on board.
Any time now we'll see little Humphrey kicking around.
Little
Um,
Humphrey.
it's a camel joke, do you know?
Yeah, I know. Um,
Just
but yeah,
signposted for the younger audience.
but yeah, interesting. That emulation was even causing a problem in 1999.
Yeah, I don't. I think like maybe someone like, yeah, you're going to run this department, but nothing ever happens here. Yeah, well, make it up. Like, right, I'm cracking down.
I
Just
think
feels like someone's gone a little bit heavy-handed.
I think probably there was probably very few sites that done it, but I think they were trying to stamp down their authority and then saying,
Yeah,
right, these are our properties. You can't just put them out for free, blah, blah, blah. But that's when this is going off piece a bit, but this is all well, I always think back, these sort of things when I think back to Capcom. There was guys who were making a remake of Resident Evil 4. Um, they'd got so far they were on their YouTube channel making this game. I think they were in France, I believe. I might have got that wrong. Capcom come and put the brakes on it, stopped it. Which you think, well, it is their property, it's fair enough. But they then said, no, don't stop. We're flying you over to Japan. We'll show you why we're doing it because we're already remaking it. But if you stay at our offices, we'll help you finish your game and we'll call it a new name. And that was Daymare 1994. And you think that's how you do it. Don't shut everyone down, work with them. You're all in the same industry, work together.
Daymare
Mm, that
is good.
mm, Daymare 1994. And it was going to be the Resident Evil 4 remake, but they worked with them, done it all for free as well. Just said, we'll help you. We'll get a couple of devs on with you. Let's get the game done. We'll publish it for you. And they did. And then you just think, and it reminds me a bit of this. Yes, okay, shut these sites down if it's your properties, but maybe work with them. Get hold of Dave and say, right, well, why don't we put some up on a storefront? You've obviously got
Mm.
them running on a PC. Let's put them up on a storefront for a couple of bucks each. And then people are still getting their games and emulators, and we're still getting a little bit out of our license. So
It's kind of swerves into the digital ownership scenario as well. Like if Dave had got his
true.
site up and running in that time, and you'd bought for £2.99 Sonic Drift and the Game Gear emulator,
Mm.
would you still own that now? I doubt it.
Oh, that's another rabbit hole. And
20
we'll,
some odd years later, like, where's the digital rights to that game now? I mean,
uh,
going on about people's rights. I mean, you own this game already, just choosing to play it on your PC through a ROM.
mm.
And ROMs are illegal. I do believe it
Yeah.
was talked about for a while about how it is legal to make copies of your own games, backups.
It is legal. You can download ROMs as long as you have the original copy. But I think it's at the moment, as I understand it, I think it's illegal. If you know, comment down below, let us know. But I think it's illegal if you make profit off that copy.
And that's where I feel in this article the IDSA has gone off a little bit gone off cocked, and why they flipped it to protecting the rights of the original owners.
Mm,
Because it's quite clear to me in this that no one, and this is a problem for emulation and ROMs, is no one seems to be profiting.
exactly. Yeah.
It was like back in the day with pirates. Like, yeah, I'll probably retrospectively become aware that you could probably have gone to a car boot in the early 90s and got a copy of an Amiga game.
Mm,
But to me, it was all hand to mouth in the school playground. Someone had got a copy of a crack game, they copied it for you, you took it home.
mm.
No one's, I mean, I think I remember paying someone a couple of quid for a floppy at one point in time, but that was it. Um, yeah, because I didn't probably, mm,
Mm.
a floppy disk.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Did they
know.
profit or did they probably, no? So, ugh.
Yeah, it's a weird one. And it's I would imagine that the games they're cracking down on here, probably half of them looked at them and thought, "Oh God, I forgot we done that." Yeah, you're not doing anything with it,
I
and no one's
I
bothered
think that
off it. It's
studios would have that conclusion more often than not, when they looked at what emulators were like, what was being played. Like, so how many people in the world right now are emulating Sonic Drift? 50. I can't even get that many. Pod 4 can't even get that many people in its freaking multiplayer on PS3, yet there's probably 50 people playing Sonic Drift at the work laptop. I mean,
yeah,
are they worth monetizing?
yeah, I know.
Probably not.
It's a weird one as well, and because it's an emulator, you're not going to be copying them, are you? So I don't.
No.
It is a weird one, and I find that's a bit like I said, the A500. They can't call it Amiga because I think someone in Italy owns the Amiga name. I don't think they do anything with it, but
I think
they,
that's been one of the biggest struggles for Mike Rouse with his Antstream thing. He's like, oh, okay, there's that game that everyone loves that we want to get on the service. Absolutely brilliant. Bit of a rabbit hole because that company went pop, but the rights to their games got bought by this company, but then they got bought by this company. And now they're like a company that's not even really related to video games that we're going to have
yeah,
to approach to
and
ask them.
and they don't even realise they got it. They don't even realise
And they
they own
don't
it.
even know they've got it. They've accumulated the rights over years and various buyouts and bankruptcies and bits and bobs where they've ended up with the rights to Sleepwalk with the Comic Relief game or something crazy. It
Mm,
doesn't make any sense.
no,
But
it's mad. It
much
is
like the
mad.
music industry, I feel like people are going to start buying up some of these old rights so they can, lock down. Oh, you're remaking that, are you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We love it. Like no one's ever. Uh, well, Let me introduce yourself. I'm Mr. Massive Media Conglomerate. Oh yeah, how you getting on? Oh, I'm suing you because you've got our game.
Mm.
Who even are you? BlackRock. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a weird one, and I still don't think it's really that clear or sorted now, and I
There's
don't think it
never
ever will be.
been there's never been that full battle, I suppose, back to your original point, because everyone's chasing the hot new thing. And if you're going to pirate anything, you might as well pirate the hot new thing or crack the hot new thing. Like PS5, people have put money up now, a reward of however many thousands to crack it finally. Um, it's just a totally different kettle of fish, isn't it?
I mean, Nintendo are always they're hot on it. They close a lot of stuff down, but then
They do.
you buy a little emulator and it's got Mario about 20 times on it. And from what I heard, they shut down these emulator companies in China, and then they restart the next day under a new name. Then they
Absolutely.
just
It's
keep,
obvious.
it
Yeah.
just keeps rolling on. But yeah, so interesting one that.
Back to
Yeah,
that point, mate, I played a little bit of Mario on my little Lamborghini clone while I was
mm,
away.
terrible.
Just deep had it right.
Yeah, it's just not the same. They don't look right either. They're a bit screen tearing and that.
You
Then
kind of like, for the most part, the SNES games look flawless, and the screen on it, I have to admit, looks great. So these
mm,
16-bit things sat purring on that screen the way they do at that 4:3 aspect ratio, like, wow, this is great. Then as soon as you start picking up the controls, it feels a bit laggy. The button kind of catches on the side of the plastic, and that was never an issue on the original Super Nintendo. It's not an issue on the Switch when you're playing Mario All Stars on there as an example or similar. So some of these emulation devices are up against the hard edge of someone like Nintendo going, do you know, we can do that ourselves and we'll kind of monetize it, but also kind of give it as a value add at the same time. I see like that Nintendo Online, they've got Sega Mega Drive, although that's slowly thinning down to like nothing, but they've got their own games up on there, and that's what they should be doing.
exactly.
Sony have kind of half-assed it with their
Mm,
classics thing that they're doing, but that's emulation, but not even very good. And then Microsoft have always kind of had an eye, like they probably regret the day they came up with the word backwards compatible at Microsoft, because when I had an original Xbox moving to the 360, they said, "Oh, it's going to be backwards compatible." I was like, "Yes, unzip, have a little go at it, knock yourself out." But when you get a bit closer, it's like only these select games, and
and
like
it's
the
got
list of
less and
the
less and less as you
and
go
the
along.
list of the original Xbox games that were compatible with the 360. Oh, you brought over all the bangers? No, none of the bangers, but I will be able to play. like that really garbage game that no one ever bought, and I can play Fusion Frenzy. Like, what was the freaking point of this?
Yeah,
You're either back compat, or you're not. Oh, select tiles. Right, okay, we move to 360. There, we move to Xbox. Oh, backwards compatible, backwards compatible. The wedge gets slimmer again and
yeah,
slimmer again. And now, obviously, it's all held together by the architecture kind of running on similar things, so you can get away with it. But the only person I see honouring their legacy decently is Nintendo. And
yeah.
I think
Oh,
if the others caught up and offered those same bundles the way that Nintendo is, they would start to earn some favour because to access those games, let's use PlayStation as a prime example, you could mop this across to Xbox with Games Pass, access those games. You're paying damn near £20 a month. Nintendo will charge you 39 for the whole year.
yeah.
Admittedly, you don't get the smorgasbord of the new game access, but Nintendo were never going to give you that. You
No.
bloody idiot.
And they seem to do it right. I've been playing Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube one, and looks great, plays great. You can
Yeah, you
custom the
just got to flip
controls.
those controls
Yeah, just flip the controls,
up
which
and
I've done.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can. You've got your sort of virtual GameCube save card, but you've got your live saves as well, so you can
yes,
save as you go along.
yeah.
Brilliant. They've done so well. They are brilliant. We've gone off piste a bit, but
No, I think
um,
we've gone full circle. We've probably covered where emulation is now. I mean, let's face it, your Pocket Go and all that other gizmo, you could be loading emulators on there and doing it on there as well.
yeah, yeah. There's ways of doing it
That's
nowadays, isn't there?
probably where most people are playing retro on the Steam Decks and whatnot now. But
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like modern emulation and retro playing is about it's more about having an absolute stack of games. Like, oh, I've got the full library. Okay, what ones do you play? Oh, I don't really, not very good. Okay,
mhm,
interesting. So you put all
yeah,
the effort into making it launch like it's a Super Nintendo. You've put all the effort into making the games rotate on a carousel with all the album art. But that wasn't the idea. That was the only idea you had. You never intended to play them. No, absolutely not. No.
yeah, yeah,
I love to fiddle with technology, but sometimes you've got to put the brakes on and ask yourself what the fuck you think you're doing.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. No, you're right.
What's this last bit?
Last bit of news again from Electronic Games Monthly. This is Square diversifies lineup. Long known for RPGs, Square does something new. Square is synonymous with Final Fantasy, but that may change in the future as the company forges ahead into other genres. Recently, the company announced two original titles: IS Internal Section and Cyborg. IS is a space shooter, which Square describes as digital art shooter. It looks like a combination of a 3D shooter and impressionistic art video. Trippy, huh? During the game, you can put in your favorite music CD to listen to while playing. Those weird looking characters will probably be displayed according to the music you choose. IS will be released on January the 28th. In Cyborg, a sci-fi 3D action game, you can play as three different characters: TJ, Giganti, or Theosis.
Bosis, I would say.
Theosis, yeah. These three characters have been assigned to search for a missing spaceship. Each character has its own weapon and ability. For instance, TJ can use a gun and martial arts attacks, while Giganti can attach different kinds of equipment to his arm. Phosis uses remote bombs. You can explore various 3D dungeon like areas and complete different missions to progress through the game. Cyborg for the PlayStation is slated for release in next spring in Japan. I thought this was strange because that was almost like Square were trying to move away from RPGs a bit here. They were trying something really different. I looked them
Uh,
up, and both these games come out, but they only did come out in Japan.
correct.
Um, but very unique. I mean, it was nice when companies tried something different. You know, they didn't just
Look,
make a different genre; they went all on for something completely different.
yeah,
You know,
completely. The IS, the space shooter IS, is the one that's probably got the most like props to it. It's got like that bib ribbon style to it where you can
Mm,
put your own CD in it and it
great idea. Yeah.
recreates the levels around you. I think that's a great one for a shooting game. Imagine slapping in some Chemical Brothers album in there and then just flying through it as you go. I don't think enough's been done with that, but to be honest with you, it's the sort of thing that someone would come up with in a jazz club, and it probably shouldn't survive outside of the jazz club, to be fair. But someone at Square managed to last long enough outside the jazz club where they could actually get IS running.
Mm,
Fair play to you. It's an artistic endeavor. Cyberorg, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's a great idea on paper, but from what I've seen of it, it doesn't seem to like stand up to the test of time very well now. It's definitely one of those PlayStation 3D games. I've never played it, and I should think the amount of people that have played it that would confess to it's countable on one hand. Um, I agree with you, RGT. They're obviously trying to pivot here. They
mm,
probably got a little bit boxed in and felt that, oh, we don't want to be the game, we don't want to be known as that company. So they're experimenting. Like I say, should IS ever have made it out? No, that should have been an internal sort of test that could have evolved into something else. And CyberOrg, there's a reason it didn't get ported, and I don't think it's that great.
mm,
So I, like you, RGT, I have to say, fair play to you for having a go. You've took some of your Final Fantasy money and you've gone down to the guy who normally cleans the vending machine and said, "What do you think would be a good game?" I was thinking we should make a visualizer game. Great is half a mil, knock yourself out. What do you reckon, Dave, in the canteen? Oh, I want to make a 3D space game where we search. One of the characters got to be TJ. Oh dear. Okay, here's $250,000. See what you
mm.
can do.
And the thing is, as well, I mean, at this time, companies did try, genres weren't so much of a thing. And like we always say, back in the day, you sold games for them being different and good. You didn't sell games because corporations wanted to just go down a genre of a FPS and make loads of millions off it.
Yeah.
And this time as well, Square would release a lot of stuff in Japan and make money off it. Nowadays, it's gone a full switch. You need to now release in the West. That's where your big bank is. So it's almost changed a bit where you had a lot of these Japanese only releases.
Yeah.
Don't seem to see so much of that now, especially with consoles being
I don't know. I
multi-region
think
and
we've talked about it on the main show, the Unofficial Controller podcast, but we talked about how like gaming in Japan is obviously on a bit of a turn. The traditional console that you thought would be doing well there, the PlayStation, is like not doing well, and the Switch and Switch 2 are doing well. We've
mm,
said before, it's to do with the size in the house. I don't think it is. I think it's just more to do with the fact the Japanese just have always gamed differently to us. And PlayStation's migrated towards the Western RPG, which has left a gaping hole back home. Nintendo never really left its Japanese roots, and therefore, and like Nintendo is firmly Japanese. We talked recently about them building that new office, the R&D center. They've built a theme park there. They're really moving Mario into a whole new brand.
mm, yeah, it's yeah, it's I know what you mean. It's you don't get the sort of risks nowadays with new titles. It's
No,
you have to be pigeonholed in a certain genre or certain
that's
to make
correct.
the money back because games now are costing 250, 300, 350 million even to
Well,
make.
they are for the Western RPGs. The
Yeah,
Mario Wonder couldn't have cost that much money.
no, definitely not.
Yet
No.
Mario Wonder's return on investment is probably great.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. You're bang on. Yeah, it's yeah, very interesting, but fair play to Square for trying.
No, I like I say, I've always got to give me props. It's unfortunate that these two little nuggets ended up being footnotes in gaming history.
Yeah, very true. I
Imagine
wonder
if
what.
we'd like this was you saying, "Oh, this is where that banger PlayStation game that we love started." It was called
Yeah.
CyberOrg in Japan. Like, wow, was it really? Unbelievable.
Well, I think
Uh,
even when I looked into these, they haven't even appeared on. I think on PlayStation in Japan, they have a sort of a PlayStation sort of history bit where you can play and download it, and they haven't even appeared on there. So I think they're rare even in Japan. If you wanted to get a copy, I would
Well, I saw a
imagine.
physical copy of CyberOrg would set you back about 50 quid.
Mm. Probably more
So
than that, I'd have thought.
never imagine that price of a retro game is a hallmark of quality. It
No,
is not.
definitely not. But
That's a
yeah,
nice little bit there, though. I like
yeah,
that. Like I say, it's a shame that it probably didn't work out for him, but it is what it is.
exactly. Yeah. Um, but that's the end of the news. I hope you enjoyed them from sort of Majesco selling their own Saturns or Game Gears, or were they Sega's old stock? No one knows, but apparently they are out there. To emulation causing problems even in 1999, right down to Square, even sort of.
Just to go back to that, mate, in 1999, I could get an IGM video working on a computer about 2 inches by 2 inches. How the frick were these people emulating?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy. So it's probably a very small percentage of gamers were. Right up to our last bit of news, which was obviously about Square and trying something different from RPGs. But I think it's now time for what we affectionately call Stingray's Boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy for Battle for Endor is some of the new releases for March 1999. Spring Stop Wattle. Whoa.
Oh.
How you seeing the raid this weekend, big boy?
Well, he's climbed out the driver's seat and he's got some big white shoulder pads on. He's dyed his hair red. There's some like a blue sort of bodice on and then some trousers. Oh, Ray.
Mm.
Ray's gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole. He's come dressed as TJ from Cyberorg. He's got a gun and he's doing some sort of roundhouse kicks in the air. He's looking at me, he's staring at me while roundhouse kicking permanently. So that's an interesting thing. It looks like a pirouetting ballerina. So there's Ray. Out the back comes Gigante, except, oh dear, his tiny version of him. He looks like a 6 inch Kenner action figure, does little Wayne. But he's come as Gigante, which is humorous in itself. He's come as a giant character, but he is only a 6 inch Kenner figure. And he's got these different things he can attach on his arm, different bits of equipment. Um, Wayne, that is not the sort of thing that you would bolt on your arm. What do you mean you got it from Mummy Tracy's drawer? Just don't use that at the Youth Club Disco.
Mm.
Okay, Wayne, that's fine. I didn't
Mm.
realize that you were older than you were and you've been in a 2 year relationship with Trace. I mean, Debs, because
Oof.
Trace is your mother. Uh, Look, mate, I don't want to cast aspersions because that's a pretty big attachment that you've got there. Speaking from experience, and RGT will back me up here, Debs ain't feeling it.
No,
How are you
definitely not.
seeing the gruesome twosome this week?
For anyone that hasn't doesn't know the law of UCP, you do now. Well, it's funny because hang on, Ray's got out. Um, he's got a green cap on back to front with sort of a yellow brim. What is he wearing? He's got blue braces on, a red shirt, black wellies, white gloves. What are you doing? Hang on, where's Wayne? Ray, show us Wayne. Wayne's dressed as a little dog. Oh, hang on. You're flogging Harvest Moon 64, aren't you?
Of course he is.
Yes, 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 yes. Very good. I'm not sure you needed the manure. I mean, that's a bit extreme. We get the idea. The Bluebird stinks, mate. You didn't need that in the boot. And we've now got to pick through that to see what we're going to get. So, yeah, nice try, but my
Sting,
God.
this ain't manure. This is a scrapings from Farmerson Sewage Farm. I
Oh,
know it
God.
grows grape tomatoes, Sting, but
Yeah, no, you need. Yeah, no, that's not from cows. Jeez. Oof, right, hold your nose. Have a dig in. What you going for?
I'm going to fire up the 286 because Ray's come packing heat. He's got Roller Coaster Tycoon Deluxe.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
no,
Ray.
deluxe,
Yeah,
deluxe.
I might have made that last bit up, but I think it is Roller Coaster Tycoon Deluxe. I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
Nice. Well, I think
Hang on a
I'm.
minute.
But
Mumsy, you're going to have to go down PC World. It's 1999. Get me a new graphics card. Voodoo.
All
Voodoo
of the
you do.
voodoo. Yeah, you're the hoodoo voodoo you do people.
Yeah, it's the power of the voodoo. Voodoo you do. Reminds me
Wah,
of the Babe.
wah, wah.
If we were doing two different songs, I was doing Labyrinth and you were doing Voodoo People.
Yeah, I was doing Prodigy.
So
Remix,
much cooler.
mix it up. Um,
Power the Hoodoo, Voodoo People.
I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Roll Cage
Why?
because I liked racing games and this was a bit different because you could drive on the ceiling.
What's your
Um,
second game?
my second game, I think, this has got a bit of a. Oh, do I go for it? This has got a bit of a sort of collector status to it now, even though I know it's not that great, but it's always intrigued me for
Oh
the
no.
Dreamcast, Blue Stinger.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just something about it. I
Blue
just thought,
Sting is good. I
I,
just
I
didn't expect you to go for it.
yeah, go for the bit of the old
I
Stinger.
say it's good in view of the modern era with everything to play on everything. Blue Stinger would be an acquired taste,
Yes, yes, definitely.
but it is good.
Yes. What are you going to go for your
My
second
second
pick?
one is Beetle Adventure Racing, an N64 classic. Great game built around the new Beetle, not the old Beetle, but the new shape Beetle that was around in 1999. It's a little bit like Porsche Boxster. What is that called? Porsche
Porsche
Challenge.
Challenge.
Bit like Porsche Challenge, but it's way more Nintendo-ified. I mean, you are ripping through. These places look crazy, but there's alternate routes, and it's all a bit of fun. Um, I highly recommend it for the N64 if you see it cheap, car only. Pick it up.
Hmm.
What's your movie pick, RGT?
Let me just have a look. God, it stinks in here, Sting. Jeez. Yeah. What's this under here? Just get the straw off. I'm gonna go. Actually, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick this because me and Mrs. RGT do like a horror movie. We can get the popcorn out, turn the lights down low. We're gonna watch Bride of Chucky.
Who said romance is dead? I tell you
Exactly.
what I'm gonna do, because underneath this use prophylactic is a copy of Galaxy Quest.
Oh,
I'm going to take this. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver. I think it's even got Alan Rickman in it. It has.
it has. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, memory kicked in right at the last moment. So I'm going to take that because I find that quite fun. It's about a TV series that ends up in space.
Hmm?
That's a simplified version.
Yeah, definitely. Big budget as well back in the day, I believe.
It was it was on movies, games, and videos, and looked. It got the big talk. So fair
Hmm.
play to it. Is there any shout outs you want to do on your way out the door before race shoots off?
There was a few on there. There's a few golf games that sort of took my eye a bit. Pro 18 World Tour Golf. I think I remember having that. I just remember that cover. Jack Nicklaus Golf as well. Load Runner 3D.
Talking
Um,
of, you took Blue Stinger. There's also Silver, which ended up on the Dreamcast as well. It's probably its release there.
mm, yeah,
Um,
X-Wing Alliance, Star Wars.
Commandos Beyond the Call of Duty. Great
Oh,
game.
were you playing Triple Play 2000 on your N64? I gather from that. No, you weren't.
No, mate.
No. There was the X3 as well. The mascot that weren't a mascot that sort of faded away. Um,
Micro Machine 64 Turbo. Good to see. No box
mm,
art, but yeah. And
yeah,
Gallop Racer.
yeah. EverQuest, Aero Wings. Yeah, some good stuff. Pepsi Man. There you go. Look at that. That Pepsi Man was out.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you think you said Aero Wings, didn't you? So everyone's had a nice shout now. Everyone's happy.
yeah.
Surprised you didn't go for Need for Speed High Stakes. Never heard of that
Oh,
before.
yeah. I was a bit dubious because I never heard of that, so I didn't know
There's
quite
like a
what that was.
Porsche on the front cover, and that looks,
Hmm.
those round lights to me suggest that's an F355 Berlinetta.
Hmm.
F1 edition, probably.
Wow.
Flappy paddle gearbox. Absolutely hammering up that road, what looks like a tunnel. This is where someone will message in now, but like, George, that's not a Ferrari. I'm sad to say it's not a Porsche either.
Yeah, it's an
So,
Austin Maestro, George. I don't know. You need some glasses,
so
mate.
sorry. I
Yes.
look now and it's an Allegro, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. That's the power. That's the power of Sting. Um,
It is the
yeah.
best.
He sells you a Ferrari when you get home as an Allegro. Um,
I mean, go figure. Is it that Pro 18 World Golf Tour you were talking about?
yeah, I recognise that cover. I
I
used to
do.
I used to, at this time, I used to
Hey,
always try different golf and different tennis
look in the
games.
bottom right hand corner. Look at the developer.
Psygnosis.
Research that. Let me know when, where, and how. Because how that must be a PS1 game.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, leave it with me. Um,
We'll get it ordered on eBay tonight.
yeah, both of us. Probably
Yeah,
bidding
100%.
on the same copy, and that cost one of us about 50 quid. But it's worth about 2.99.
You.
Yeah,
I'll bid
probably.
it up and then walk away.
Yeah, you would as well. Um, yeah, so I think that's the end of Sting. Thank you very much, my man. See you later. See you next
See
week.
you, right.
See ya. See you, Wayne. You don't have to bark. You're not really a dog. Um, I
Careful, because you
think
don't want Tim to come at you with the way I saw him.
definitely not. Uh,
Because I imagine you'd masquerade it as a slip, but I think it'd be 100% a pushback.
definitely. Um, steady. It's not UCP. We'll go on to housekeeping. We say UCP. Unofficial Controller Podcast, our main show. This is our spin-off show, show number 2. Go check that out if you like anything modern and like I say, the early days, we had a bit of lore in there as well. Well over 300 episodes, plenty to go and check out, plenty of back catalogue to download. So go and have
How
a
many
check.
episodes have we done? Have we got like to the 330s yet?
Next episode is 330.
Oh my God, I feel old.
Yeah, so
Divide that
incredible.
by 52.
Yeah, it's been a slog, but we're done well. Website, unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Go check
It's
it
been a
out.
slog, but we've done well. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dad.
yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, yeah, we're done well.
We
Um,
have.
Yeah, check our website, unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com for anything from you want to know what's happened on the show to the latest shows with the links to them, from challenge accepted, see our winners, from game reviews. There's a bit going on all the time. It's constantly evolving, constantly improving. Go and check that out. We've mentioned it a few times, but if you want to contact us through email, you can. Questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Let us know your name, any of your queries, what you want to know, anything you want to tell us about this show or any of the other shows. We'll read you out as well if you want. We have Discord, Unofficial Controller Podcast Discord. Jump on there. Like I say, that's where all the things are going on. Like I say, challenge accepted. Let's get quizzical, weekly quizzes. To our playthroughs at the moment, we're playing Heavenly Sword, and we're all really stuck on one boss.
Which
So
were at the end.
no, we're stuck on the end of area 2 or chapter 2 boss. We have to do the quick time really fast. Get it
Heavenly
wrong
Sword's a
once.
twat of a game.
Yeah,
It's great. It's not aged particularly well, but my God, it can be hard at times.
oh god, you get this end boss and you get one wrong, you drop back in the arena to fight him and he gets full power again. And you're like, and if you die, you have to go back through all the 3 stages of enemies to fight him. It
Heavenly
is,
Sword
yeah.
was the first great white hope of the PlayStation 3.
Yeah. And it's good. And it's got Anna Corvin as well, one of my favorite actresses. So it's great having
Yeah,
her,
and
you know.
matey boy Gollum, Peter Serkis is in it.
Andy Serkis, yeah.
Andy Serkis, that's it.
Yeah, and I think Alfred Molina's in it as well, or something as well.
Really?
But yeah, I think so. Whether he done a voice for a different character in a different region or something, but yeah, he's listed on there
So their
somewhere. So
next game that they produced after that one was the Odyssey of the West
Mm.
Monkey. What's it called? Is it Odyssey?
Enslaved.
Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
monkey story. Yeah.
yeah. That's it. Yeah. So, but yes. So yeah, over on Discord, that's all going on. Come and check out on there. We always welcome new people. And like I say, we've got TikTok. There's videos going on there. Instagram and X, or as old people say, Twitter. So there's plenty going on, plenty to check out. Just type in Unofficial Controller Podcast and it will come up on any of those things. And I think we're about there. George, do you want any shout outs or anything you want to say, or
Only sorry to you.
what for?
I took time off. I came back this week. I was hard on you. Not in that way, not
Well,
sexually, but I
no,
shouldn't. I enjoy. I love this show, and long may it continue. It's a
you do not
nice,
need to
chilled out.
apologise. You deserve a break, and the helm was held, so don't worry.
I saw it. The
Mm,
grip was so tight, I felt it.
mm. I did grip
Um,
hard. I am a hard gripper, so
yeah,
yeah,
it
I
was.
was. Yeah,
Abrasion levels were a little bit too high for me to relax, but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, you'll get used to it. So you'll get used to it.
yeah.
So
No, but great couple of solos that you ended up doing last week.
one solo.
Oh no, yeah, because we got the awesome digital monkery on,
We
didn't we,
got
for Flashy
DM
B?
on for
Yeah.
Flashy B. Yes, I just
And
done
to
a
be
sale
honest
on
with
UCB.
you, the ratings tell the story. I guess I'm not long for this world.
Jesus, a bit dramatic.
It's true. If the fans
No,
demand it,
no,
if the ratings design it, then there's only one place for me to go.
you're not going that easily. You just stay put, son. The captain stays with the ship.
Wow. Get me a snorkel. See how long we can last.
Yeah, don't leave me, Jack. But yeah, so thanks again, George, for joining me on
Pleasure. Love it. Hope
Flashback.
everyone's loving it as much as we love making Flashback. It's been a real joy.
It was good, and
Do people know how Flashy B got its origin? Or I stayed one day that I wanted to do a PS3 show.
it sort of evolved from it, didn't it? And then that sort of spun into my head, and then I come out with a maybe an old format of UCP spun into a retro style, and then you come back and say we should call it Flashback, and then we kept humming and hawing. I wrote a few shows, and we went for it, and rest has been history. And people seem
Yeah.
to really enjoy it, and we love doing it. So
Still working on a third show as well, guys. So don't panic. We're still working on that.
yeah,
So hoping you'll get UCP, you'll get Flashback, and you'll get the new show.
yeah.
How much is all this?
No, this is nothing.
It's free.
Completely free.
Whew.
Yeah,
Good, isn't it?
we're glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
Want another show? Yeah, no worries. We'll do that. Yeah,
You want 3 shows? Fine, we'll do that.
I can't
as well.
commit to work today. I'm recording another show.
Oof.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, George, for joining me. That was good. Enjoyed that
pleasure.
as always. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed February 1999. We had great fun looking back. And it just leaves me to say, Flashback, the games you loved, the stories you forgot. See you later, George, and see you later, everyone.
That never rings, a song that never sings, a road that never bends, and it feels like this will never end.